saying like, hey, that could be something you could do.
I think the fucker was smirking.
That makes him guilty?
Doesn't make him innocent, does it? Let's be honest.
I think he had a suspicious demeanour. Well, that's because I'm a skeptic. That's all.
I think you're forgetting that pastors don't smirk. So.
Yeah, but he was smirking in the video that I saw in the first.
I think he had a suspicious.
No, but he can't. Pastors don't smirk, so he can't be a pastor, can he?
The answer is he was smirking. Fact.
So if he was smirking, then you're denying he's a pastor?
No. How do you make that logical fallacy?
Because you said pastors don't smirk, so he can't be a pastor and smirk.
Yeah, with that he assumed under normal circumstances. Come on, Lottie.
Being confronted with a TV camera in front of you is not normal circumstances.
No.
I'd
stop keeping up the song here. We shouldn't let him do that.
No, yeah, it really bugs me when he does this, you know.
Yeah. Somebody mute him.
No. Kick him. Stab him.
Yeah. Snipe him.
Yeah.
So
where's the snipers when we need them?
Are we broadcasting?
Yeah, I'm going live.
Really?
Okay, we're live.
The thing is, if you go live, it does change the dynamics of the conversation.
I know, yeah. I just thought it was interesting. I just called it Nathan's After Hang without Nathan.
So, Tony, what's your position on the Vice video and auto hoaxes?
The Vice video?
The video you just...
Yeah, 3 minutes.
The video with the guy that was smirking?
Yes.
He doesn't look like a victim to me.
What does a victim look like?
Somebody that's distraught, upset, empty in the mind. By the way, are we live?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that guy was fucking smirking, and that's not what somebody that's lost their child actually does when confronted. They would start throwing punches.
That's what you do.
You wouldn't be smirking. That's what you don't do.
So, you're saying...
The question then becomes to you, do you defend him smirking?
I think people do extraordinary things in extraordinary circumstances.
Yeah, that's like drive off in a rage and things like that, but you don't stand there smirking at the guy trying to encourage him to throw a punch, do you?
Well, Tony, to a certain extent, I agree that I'd be quite angry.
Yeah, most people would be angry if they were challenging the validity of your daughter existing in the first place.
But
claimed to be dead.
I'm not him, nor you, and neither of us are in front of a camera in that situation.
Riley, did you know this guy was a pastor?
What's that got to do with it?
Pastors don't smirk.
That's correct.
That's what you're saying.
That's what who's saying, Lottie?
You.
I don't care whether he's a pastor or not. At the end of the day, he's being challenged on the basis of his daughter existing in the first place. And the guy's smirking. Come on.
I think, I think him being a pastor does have a relevance to how his demeanour is.
Really?
Yes.
There's a way to be passive and non-aggressive without smirking, and that's not. And pastors are really good at doing that. If that's what he's doing to try and be passive and non-aggressive, he sucks at it.
I think I recall a video of somebody trying to stab, maybe throw piss or stab a pastor, and he also done the same. He just stood there and laughed because that's kind of what they're trained to do, right? Not laugh. Sorry, laugh is the wrong word. He actually just sat there and smiled. And I think that's what they're kind of trained to do, being a pastor, Riley. They're taking the...
So, Riley, as well, you've studied law and interview techniques and things like that. Do you not think it could be a defense mechanism?
No, not at all. Not at all. A defense mechanism is to try and pull yourself away from the scenario, walk away. That's defense.
No,
that's exactly what he's doing, Riley.
No, he's antagonizing.
No, he's removing himself. He's removing himself from having to interact with this guy. As this guy's shouting, and as this guy's shouting, he can't leave, Riley. So he's there as he's being confronted by this guy. If he just smiles, he's not conversing with the guy, is he? So it's his way of removing himself.
Getting back in the car and disappearing.
I know this is off, but if he did do that, that would be even more suspicious to you guys.
No, he's removing himself from a contentious and confrontational
No,
situation.
I agree in that point. Yes, he would be physically removing himself, but
Yeah.
I meant metaphorically. But if he did physically remove himself from that situation, to you conspiracy theorists, that would be even more suspicious, is my point.
Well, it's kind of like the handshake with the punch in the face from Buzz Aldrin. Sorry, not the handshake, the Bible swearing thing.
Oh, not this again.
At the end of the day, the bottom line is this: if he's really the victim of losing a loved one, a child that was his, right, that the way he's reacting isn't consistent with somebody that even was trying to remove them from the situation.
No, Tony, it's not consistent with what you believe should be consistent.
It's not about belief. I've lost someone in not situations like that, but somebody young that shouldn't have died.
Okay.
And that is not the way you behave.
Not the way you behave.
No, anybody. Nobody would sit there smirking. It's ridiculous. If you think that's a real behaviour, even in an adverse situation like this, it's ridiculous that you would even think that.
Even after 7 months?
Yeah, even after 7 months, mate. It's nonsense. That's not the way anybody would behave.
Is it your position that this guy is actually lying and he didn't have a daughter?
He's antagonising the situation by smirking. That's my position.
I think you answered a different question there, Riley.
You asked me, is my position, then the answer to your question is no.
Okay, that's the question. So what would your position be in regards to this? I know you say he's smirking, but what do you think what's hidden by that, or what does it represent?
I think he's goading the other guy who gets locked up by the police. He's trying to make him punch him, isn't he?
Do you think he has a daughter, or do you think he had a daughter that was killed in this
I have
incident?
no idea, but based entirely on that clip that was shown to me by Alan B, I would say that that's very, very, very unusual behaviour for the victim of somebody that's lost a child.
I wouldn't say there is any usual behaviour for anybody that's lost a child, though.
Have you ever lost anybody?
I have.
Yeah.
Have you lost anybody close to you that was family?
I have.
Yeah.
Me too. Would you smirk at somebody that was challenging the existence of that person?
No, but I wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't expect anybody else to act how I act. Only I can act how I act.
Yeah, well, put it this way. If I was being challenged and somebody was challenging the existence of my cousin that got knocked off a motorbike when he was 16 and died, I would be angry. And if I chose to be passive, I would not sit there smirking to be passive.
You said previously, Riley, you wouldn't have an issue with someone questioning the death of your nephew. You would just get the birth certificate and the death certificate, and that would be fine. There'd be no issue. But now you're saying that you would.
Now, if you wanted.
But now you're saying
if you think that I might be lying about the existence of my cousin that died, I would have no problems whatsoever in producing the death certificate.
First, you said you wouldn't have an issue with providing evidence of the death of your nephew, but
Correct.
You're also saying that you would be very angry if someone done this to you.
Correct.
That's a contradiction.
Yeah, but I'd be satisfied in proving the truth.
So what you would do is you would get angry, you would punch him in the face, but then you would get a birth certificate for him.
No, I would challenge him and I would see what the problem is, but I certainly wouldn't sit there smirking. But then if push come to shove and I had to get a death certificate or a birth certificate or whatever, I'd go and get the required document to prove the existence of the child that I'm supposed to have not lost.
So that's the problem. We're not going to know your position if you don't even know what your position is, Riley, if you just contradict yourself.
If I'm being challenged on something of that nature and I'm really the victim of that situation, I would have no problems whatsoever in proving that it's true. And anybody would have to say, I don't know anybody that wouldn't want to or for some reason choose not to.
No, again, you said you have no problem with it, but previously you said you would be very angry if someone done that, and smirking is not the correct way to act. So I don't get how you can.
That's not the same context, Lottie.
Of course it is.
No, it isn't. No,
I don't
the smirk and the response would be towards the behavior and the approach of the person. But when it comes down to actually proving, that's what Sleeping Warrior is saying he would not have a problem with. When it actually comes down to
it's all within the same concept, isn't it? Because this is what the guy's saying.
No, it's not.
Of course it is. Because
it's a first emotional response relating to social behavior, and then it's actually a response to trying to prove something.
This is not a first response, Arwin. This has been going on for time. He's been spreading graffiti. He's had accusations against him. So it's not a first response.
Did the pastor know him? Did he know him for a very long? Was he with him all the time?
The Sidethorn guy.
He's been stalking him, hasn't he?
Has been stalking the pastor for.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I mean, Owen. So it's not the same.
That is odd.
7 months solid, Owen.
Hey, Don,
7 months he was.
I also stream the audio from this.
Imagine that. I mean,
Yeah,
if I was the Sidethorn guy and I approached Tony in the same manner, I would expect Tony to thump me.
Well, that is odd. If he was indeed stalking the pastor for a very long time, then maybe he made a proposition to him like, okay, I'm not going to go away no matter what you do. You can't keep me away. So you're just going to do an interview with me, and then I'll go away. And maybe that is the reaction why he had that attitude. But it's a very, very unusual situation in that case.
That makes more sense to me.
Go ahead, Tony.
Would you expect me, if you were asking me that in questions, would you, Alan B., expect me to smirk whilst you were asking me?
I've seen people grieving do very unusual things.
All right, so let me change the context. Jeremy spent weeks doing videos about me because he said that I lied about the elevation. Do you think if I smirked at Jeremy while on camera, do you think that would help my position if I smirked at him?
I think you're reading too much into this.
Anthony,
no, I'm applying it. I'm applying it on the credibility of the witness. You're saying that that's an unusual situation.
Anthony,
no, Tony. What I'm saying is
just for clarification. Did you just compare your lies to the murder of a young girl?
No, I compared my behavior.
Anthony, in the context of the scenario I just explained, it could very well be that he's smirking in this case because he's embarrassed that he is being forced to go along with the guy that he hates. In that case, a smirk would be a typical locked facial expression that somebody would hold just to get over it. It's a combination of anger and embarrassment of not being able to do as you would naturally do.
And that's the first time I agree with Arwen, ever.
Not the first time, but thanks. So, anyway, it doesn't excuse what this guy is
but what's
doing
interesting
in the way that he is doing, especially if he has been stalking that man for months.
He has.
The atrocious behavior. It's not good to do that, even if you're trying to prove a case that is quite contentious. Then there are other ways to approach that and shouldn't go be offensive like that.
What's interesting, though, is that Tony finds one thing and then hangs everything off that one thing.
No, don't make it personal again. Come on. Stop.
No,
don't do this.
I'll tell you what's more interesting. You guys defend it based on ignorance because none of us really know what the position really is. That's the first time I have seen
don't defend
before, but you guys are actually defending the smirking jester. And I wonder why you would defend the smirking jester.
Tony, what we're saying is the use of your language, the smirk, the jester. You're immediately you've taken a position.
Yeah, because he seems to be like incredible.
I think.
I just gave a pretty good scenario as to why he could smirk.
No, you didn't. Riley, we're not defending him, Riley. We're just saying we don't know the answer, and you're instantly adding some kind of
scenario that could make it plausible.
Please wait a second.
That wasn't what you were trying to get.
We're not taking a position, Riley. You are. We're saying we don't know what the intentions behind the smirk are, and it's very hard to judge in this situation.
That isn't the position that you were trying to do. You were trying to get me to say stuff live.
No, not trying to catch you out.
No, we've been talking about this for the last half an hour, Riley. There's no trying to catch you out.
I'm not interested in trying to catch you out.
I think anybody that smirks when being confronted is asking for a punch because they're probably lying. That's my view. If you don't like it, tough. That's what I think.
That's fair enough, but our view is in such situations with TV cameras and confrontation and grieving, people do unusual things.
Yeah, it is a Vice film, remember. Like that's probably the key moment that they edited together and waited for. You know what I mean? One person.
Yeah, that is a good point.
You can see both sides.
A smirk is not just
it's an open film, so you can take it how you want.
like I disagree with the idea that just because behavior is supposedly unpredictable, that you would then smirk as a random response. Absolutely not. But if you work out the possible complex setup of how this situation came to be, then you could indeed figure out why he would be smirking, as I explained. But no, to say like, oh, you don't know how people respond in a normal, neutral circumstances, that it just happen to be a smirk. No, I totally do not agree with that.
Tony, as a sideline, there's a rather excellent Darren Brown video where he talks about what to do in situations where people are confronted. Often when people are going to fight you. And he says that smiling and coming out with nonsensical things often disarms people.
No, that's not my experience of being confronted by pissheads. If you smile at a pisshead or smirk in any kind of way, it usually antagonises them and makes it worse. The way to deal with
we're not talking about
is to walk away.
We're not talking about people under the influence of alcohol, Riley.
Yeah,
that's a totally different tangent.
You walk away.
Yeah, but we're not talking about people who are under the influence of alcohol, Riley. That changes a person's...
We're talking about confrontation. As I said, you would walk away. You would get back in the car and you would drive away.
Yeah, but you're adding the fact that the people were pissed. Now, that's going to change the way people react to you. I'm making the point that
it's about a confrontation, and I've had numerous confrontations with people that have confronted me, usually drunk, but nonetheless, it's still a confrontation. And
all right, but I'm saying you need to discount people who are drunk, Riley, because they're under the influence of alcohol. So their reactions can't be counted as normal or what would...
It's an irrelevant point.
It's not
a confrontation.
Tony,
as an example, it's silly.
Tony, don't get angry. But
I don't know why you're defending a dickhead that's smirking at you.
I don't know. Well, I tell you what, I'm struggling.
Watch the first 5 seconds of that clip.
I've watched it, Tony, and I don't understand your
all right, well, put it on screen and let the people watching and see.
I just want to shout out JJ.
If you want to play it, play it.
Just the first 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Where is it? Dawn Treader, that was it, wasn't it? Or was it that one? No, not that one.
Second link.
Am I being presented?
I just want to quickly shout out Rebel to Hold Me for Life.
I can share your screen, yeah.
Yeah, just present it so that other people can see it, so they'll see what I'm getting at and why I'm pissed off. Look at the guy's face. This is meant to be the victim of someone that's lost the daughter. Is that the way that you would expect somebody that lost the daughter to behave?
Maybe after they've been stalked for 7 months.
Look at the body language of the guy in the left who gets arrested. He's got his palms up. He's not being confrontational. He might not.
That is confrontational, putting your arms out like that.
No, it's not. He's got his palms are up.
He's saying, "Come on, look, I'm here, ready for you."
No, it's not. His palms are up. Look at the guy in the blue shirt. That's smirking. I would punch that guy.
No. I actually, now that I'm seeing it again, I am going to back up my original statement and say that he looks like he is embarrassed and angry at the same time, and that is
correct.
See the constant motion.
You think that's
like
naturally?
Impatience. And
well, put it this way: I would credit the guy on the left because he held his cool. Because if I was as charged as this guy was, because he did get arrested, this guy smirking at me like that, he'd be getting punched. That simple.
You're going to punch someone who might have lost their daughter in a church shooting that he owns because he smirked at you.
Look at the way he's behaving. I've lost someone like this.
Wait, just 1 second. Just 1 second. Sorry. I'm a bit confused here. Riley, you're saying that the guy who's confronting the guy whose daughter has died should punch him?
No, I'm saying that I would punch him because of his smirking.
Wait, the guy's daughter's just died. You're confronting him. He smirks at you because you're a piece of shit, and then you punch him.
It's too fucking hilarious.
Yes.
If this guy was smirking at me, and I'm challenging him based on the lies.
Anthony, I think you're messing up the two parties here.
Tony, you know we're live, yes?
Yeah, I know that we're live.
Am I confused?
He wasn't mixing them up.
He wasn't mixing them up, Owen.
He wasn't mixing them up, Owen.
Listen.
Anthony,
If I'm challenging,
I'm
what
very
you fuckers
happy
do, I think
that
you're
you're
lying
the
and you start
guy
smirking at me. What the fuck do you expect me to do?
He's not mixing them up.
Big trouble.
Riley is punching. Riley is antagonising the guy whose daughter has just died.
Yeah.
The guy
that's the story.
The guy embarrassed smiles at Riley because he's a piece of shit. So then Riley punches the guy.
If Riley was that guy, he would have taken it even further. Yes.
Fuck me.
This guy would be on me, smirking at me like that. He's pointing out to you that he doesn't believe his story, and this guy's smirking. He'd be on the fucking floor, mate.
This is fucking.
You'd
Oh
be
my.
in big trouble then, Anthony.
That's not the way that somebody that's innocent behaves, is it?
Yeah, but that's not a good enough reason to then punch him. That's really, really stupid stance, dude.
Well, don't fucking smirk then. Be a fucking victim the way you're meant to be. That's not the way you behave when you're a victim.
That's ridiculous. That is sorry. I don't like to disagree with you, but I couldn't disagree more.
Victim, would you?
Tony.
I fucking love you, Riley.
Some kind of something else is going on.
It's ridiculous, dude. You don't punch somebody that you suspect might be lying to you when they could be actually a victim.
No, that's not the reason why you punch him. The reason why you punch him is
no, but you shouldn't do it at all, no matter the reason.
This is far out.
Of course it does.
No, you might actually be inclined to punch them when you actually have physical proof. When you have physical proof and he still persists lying, then you might be inclined to punch him. But this is ridiculous.
If you think that guy can be defended, you're off your fucking head.
You don't actually want to be him and punch him, do you? It's just a thought experiment, Riley, yeah?
What?
You don't actually want to be someone like that, to punch someone like that. You're just...
No,
if I'm calling you out,
you're imagining if you were him.
Hang on, one at a time.
He's saying in this thought experiment, if he was that guy who was accusing the guy of being a fraud, he would have punched him for smirking.
I'm just checking. I'm just checking it's a thought experiment.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in Tony.
I don't give a shit. If you defend someone that smirks at you when you're being told that you're a liar, what would you expect?
I thought you were...
I thought, like every normal person, that Riley was referring to the pastor punching the guy, antagonising him.
I hoped that's what he meant, but I knew he didn't.
That's what I the wrong way round. My understanding is the guy in the pale blue t-shirt was the pastor. He's the one that's being accused of lying, and he sat there smirking back. Is that not the way it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Anthony, would you then punch him after having stalked him for 7 months?
If he smirked, I'm telling him that he's lying. Of course I would.
You've made threats on the phone to dig up
Anthony,
his family
we got
or
a
his daughter.
context here. The guy has been stalking him for 7 months. To make this kind of an argument is really weird. It's just weird.
It doesn't even matter if you've been stalking him. Just to threaten to punch somebody whose daughter has possibly just died is fucking insane.
Don't fucking smirk at me when I'm accusing you of lying, then.
I'm genuinely disappointed. I thought Tony was an okay guy.
Well, no. Then that totally justifies Buzz Aldrin, then, right?
Tony does argue no planes on 9/11 too. So.
Well, no, doesn't that justify Buzz Aldrin?
No, not really.
Very good.
Because Sabro was smirking.
Not really. Why don't you get that pastor to put his hand on the fucking Bible?
I'm just saying.
No, come on. This is getting really...
It does kind of... Does it relate back to the...
Shall we get back a bit to the
does,
subject? I know it's really lovely that Anthony's taking this weird stance.
Oh no, mute him.
Hi, sir. No, No.
So, shall we get back to the subject? The guy has been stalking him. He's basically assuming that his
I cut myself off.
didn't die. That's correct. So, there could be a lot of things that could be done without actually offending the man, and then trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, Arwen,
do you agree with that? That he could approach this a lot less offensive.
My estimation of you has gone up incredibly after today.
Okay.
Who was the question aimed at, Arwen?
Everybody.
No.
Yeah, I remember I said it was
it's
something that wasn't none of my business.
What was it again?
Guys,
it was none of my
let's
business.
just get back to the subject, okay?
What the guy did was despicable.
I don't think Arwen, to answer your question, I don't think I'd do any of it.
So do you think you should put a Bible in that guy's face and say, swear on this that your daughter died?
Well, if you're comparing it to the book of Punch, then yeah.
Well, that would be kind of interesting.
To do to a bloke in his position.
What?
If he's supposed to be a pastor and he's not an actor, he'll have no problem putting his hand on the Bible and swearing on by Almighty God or whatever it is.
Right.
Well, I'm not all that sure about that even, Anthony, because I've heard, I'm not entirely 100% sure this is a thing, that you shouldn't swear on the Bible.
Yeah, but anybody that's religious in any way, like a pastor or a vicar.
No, but a pastor would be the one to specifically know that, if it were the case. So
yeah,
just a general person may not realize it, just think of like, oh, it works like that in the law and everything, so that's fine. But a pastor may actually realize that you should never swear on the Bible, if that is indeed the case.
Okay, Nick says the shooting was only last year, so the Vice film's been made between then and now.
Yeah, I think it was, the shooting was in November.
So anyway, I personally think that it is not illegitimate to question whether or not there would be a potential crisis actor faking a death of a person involved in a situation. However, to do it in such an ambush journalistic fashion is highly inappropriate. It's bad. It sets a bad precedent. It's culturally very destructive and disruptive, and it is evil.
I have to agree with Arwen.
To question it in general is not a bad thing. But what he could have done is just basically do an investigation to the identity of the
keep it secret
involved
and
people.
prove it.
Indeed, see if there is a grave. And eventually, when eventually there is enough clues that could actually point out that it could have been faked, then maybe see if you could scan the grave. Scan it, not dig it up, but just scan if there is actually somebody there that in proportions would correlate.
What, secretly in the middle of the night? Go and scan the grave. Go and scan the grave secretly.
Conspiracy tards. But if it did, I would love to see a reaction if something similar happened to one of your loved ones and you were being accused of being a fraud, or that you were covering up the death of your mother or your father.
Yeah, but then you're putting it in the ambushing journalistic context. Because if you just present it as like, hey, there are some doubts about this, could you help me prove that it's not that it is real? If you put it in that context and just be nice about it to the person, then it would not have to be that offensive.
Right, I agree, but that's not what happens, is it?
Indeed. This guy that does this thing in that video is a total asshole.
I'm in the middle of talking, you bloody idiot. Wait and listen until I finish before you start your sentence. So what I was saying is that doesn't happen, does it, Arwen? People make YouTube videos and they harass people and they follow them around and they spray graffiti saying that they're lying. That's what happens, Arwen.
Unfortunately, it does.
It's not people nicely questioning things, which we all agree questioning things is perfect. We like that. We want you to question things. But I agree with you, there is a certain way to do it. But none of these people use that method. They only use the aggressive tactics. And that's the crux of the issue of what we're talking about.
Well, it is bad, and I think that probably something should be done about that. Not saying it should be censored, but they should definitely be approached. If I were the people being approached by this ambush journalist, to call him a journalist is even a bit too much, then I would definitely try to sue him for harassment and all of that. But yeah, I am still wondering where are the citizen journalists basically trying to investigate the false flags in a more professional manner, as in the way that I described. Because something like that should be done. There are a lot of questions that the public does have about the legitimacy of many of these events.
Agreed, Arwen. So, I do agree with you, but not to be dismissive. It's because they're all bullshit claims, Arwen, and there is no evidence, and they lead nowhere. It's It's complete bollocks.
I disagree.
So Tony,
I know I'm not. Again, I'm not being dismissive, but that is the actual position. All your conspiracy theories are complete bullshit. And when anyone does investigate them using any real method or actual discernment, nothing turns up. It turns up it's just a load of hot air.
No, that is a fallacious assumption.
So Tony,
There's nothing that wasn't fallacious at all, Owen.
No,
So-
it's just an assumption based on nothing.
fuck you. So Tony,
Yeah.
you still keeping the same position? You'd punch him?
Yeah, I would.
Oh God!
He's saying that just.
You're mental, man.
No, listen, fuckers, listen. Just shut the fuck up and listen. Shut up. Shut up and listen.
Everybody stay quiet.
Shut up. If somebody challenges me about the apparent death of my cousin, my immediate reaction is to prove that it was true. I would not sit there and smirk and say, go on, then prove it's not. And that's exactly what he's doing. If you think that I'm fucking in the head for whatever, fuck you. Because you've not been in the position yourself. And until you are, you'll never know.
Well, you're saying we've never... What position?
You're all fucking pricks.
Well,
Well, no, Riley, you're conflating 2 different points.
We made him rage quit. I think...
Yeah, but
wow.
yeah, you kind of did push him very far, guys.
Yeah, but he takes the position. He takes the position and runs with it.
I think
That is an awful position to hold.
That's,
Hey, gentlemen.
that's horrible.
I can't seem to open up or get this to link on to like the Hangouts to link to OBS.
I think to be fair to Tony, Tony's confusing himself and the situation, and he seemed to be really angry there. So
No, but it was getting personal. Okay, he was
No,
obviously
Owen,
in his emotion. Remember?
Owen.
No, Alan. Now you
Owen.
listen.
Wait, guys,
Now you
one at a
listen
time,
up,
please.
okay?
Owen, stop shouting. You don't
Anthony
need
was
to rage quit as
obviously
well.
distraught by the memory of his own cousin dying, and
No,
that
that's
was
not-
why he was responding
I
this way.
agree.
And you are being assholes
No,
for making fun of him.
Owen, that
Well, it's a very
one makes
confusing
fun of him.
situation, okay?
just let me speak. That is the exact thing that I was saying. I think Anthony had not separated the two, and was giving us an emotional response
Exactly.
rather than an intellectual response.
Right.
And Owen,
so
just to point out,
You
we
shouldn't
didn't
be
actually
so
troll
mean
him.
about
Owen,
it, okay?
do you not hear people when you're talking, Owen, or do you do it on purpose?
No, when I get angry, I also talk over people.
Twitwit says in the chat.
Well,
Sorry, Lo.
I am trying to not talk over you as much as possible, Owen, just to prove we can be fair. But I'll point out, Owen, that we didn't troll him then. Alan just asked that his position was still the same, and just to clarify, and then he went and rage quit.
But as I just wanted to explain, I think that basically the memory of his cousin that was obviously very personal to him, that made him emotional, and that probably made him confused. Just
No,
he didn't
so
size up
likes
the
to-
scenario.
he likes to take the contrarian position.
Optimal way, okay?
This is
That's
ammo
a
for him.
normal
He loves the
response.
contrarian
He
position.
just couldn't size up the situation properly.
Because I don't like how he reacted. I think I should punch Anthony in the face.
Well, I was going to read
It
a
was
comment
personal to
out.
him, okay? And he obviously had trouble sizing up the situation in a rational way. You shouldn't hold this against him. It was very personal.
Twitwit says, how do you prove your daughter was murdered when you're approached on a street by a random stranger? So, like, the guy couldn't really if he wanted to, could it?
I'm confused.
It's okay. Riley says no planes on 9/11 as well. He's fine to argue that.
Such a strange position to take.
That was absolutely hilarious. I can't believe...
No,
I
it's
thought
not
he was on
funny,
the
dude.
same side as...
That's not funny.
No, listen, Arwen, just 1 second. What I'm trying to say is funny is I thought he was on the same page as us, that the pastor should punch the antagonist. But he's not. He had the opposite position, and that's what's funny about it to me. Does that make sense? I'm not saying the situation is funny. I'm saying that Riley thinking that the the guy accusing the guy of being a fraud who lost a child.
Yeah.
He should punch him.
Maybe we should drop it because you really hurt him. He just shared with me a picture of his cousin, okay? He's really upset about this.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's about his cousin, then...
yeah, of course it is. That's what I just tried to explain.
Well, that's what I mean. Look, this is what I said previously. Like, if you conspiracy theorists happen to be in one of these situations, how would you react? Like, it would... I imagine you wouldn't appreciate if a load of trolls were harassing you and making videos about your loved ones not being real or not actually existing or dying. Like, so think of the reaction you would have then. Never mind what Riley's just done.
Yeah, but look, he tried to defend the situation from a journalistic point of view, while at the same time being reminded of the other position, which is very confusing. So
that's fine. I can understand that. But also, like, you can see, he digs himself into a hole. Like, he was defending, for all intents and purposes, grave digging.
Yeah, but I think that we established that why that happened. So it was getting very personal. It was getting confusing. So come on.
He brought the personal side in, though.
Yeah, it happens. It's something that happened to him. He didn't choose for that to happen. It was a tragedy that happened in his life. He got reminded about it, and it just happened.
Owen, he gets a pass from me, but you yourself, and I quote, "You're digging a very big hole here, Anthony."
Yeah, but that was before I started to realize what the situation really was, why he was acting like that. So I got it now. So sorry, Anthony, if I made it worse. Didn't mean to. Just didn't realize yet what was going on there. So
I think it was just the punching bit that went too far.
Yeah.
I don't get the not being able to understand strange reactions.
Well, that's what heavy personal emotions do to you. They make things confusing.
Yes, but Anthony's just demonstrated that, but yet doesn't understand it in the video.
Now, well, you know what? Maybe let this just sink for a day or something, and he'll probably get back at you, and then he'll have figured out what went wrong, how things got messed up, or maybe he will have a new stance.
I told him to come back.
At this time, we shouldn't. Come on.
I asked him to come back, but he's now messaging me, I think. But we can stop, I guess.
All right.
Well, carry on. I don't know. Fuck knows.
Well, is there anything else that we can discuss relating to this subject and not to Anthony's response?
I think we should leave it.
All right.
Okay.
Well, anyway, thanks for having me.
What happened? Did everybody leave?
No, Anthony left. Oh, Isa is also no longer here.
I think we come to a natural full stop.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna leave too. Yeah, I'll see you guys on the Flat Earth debate.
Okay.
So do come and visit the Flat Earth debate every day on Nathan Oakley's channel. See ya.
Nice one.